Oh, hello, hello. Right. Right, we are start.
Hello, hello.
Right, we are starting live early, and and I've made a complete mess of that already. Actually, hang on a sec. Right, I was also monitoring it on my other computer just to check we got sound okay, and that's probably created some sort of hideous echo. Look, hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. Let me just sort this out. Right. Right. So I believe I've done this for a while. Right. Okay. We are 5 minutes early. I think the only person we've got here is Lee Scully. So hello, Lee. I'll save the introductions just for a few seconds while I just calm down and stop panicking. Right. Okay. Let me just check the sound. Okay. Yeah, that's all fine. Okay, great. So I'm going to add Maff to the stage. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Save the Crypto here, and I'm here today with Maff The Coder. We decided to do a live stream on Saturday, basically because we were a little bit nervous about how it would go. Well, I was anyway. A little bit nervous about how it would all go. Yeah, consequently, we just thought we'd do it on a day when probably no one's going to turn up. But if some of you do turn up, that will be great, and it's good to see Lee here already. If anyone is watching who's lurking in the background, if you can sort of tweet this or exit or whatever it's called these days, post it, isn't it? I think then that'd be great. If we can get a few people along, we can have a little conversation and discuss stuff. Anyway, so without further ado, I'm here with Maff The Coder. So I'm just going to say hello to Maff, and hello, and how are you doing today?
Hey, yeah, good, thanks. Still a bit roasting, as like the other day, but probably even more so today. But yeah, all good. I guess it's going to be fairly, like you were saying before, it's going to be a fairly chill kind of live stream, isn't it? Just shooting the breeze.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, it actually rained a little bit here today, but not too much. But okay, so I kind of feel like we need some more people here. Maybe we should wait 3 minutes and see what's going on. Unless you got any questions. Unless you got any questions here, Lee, or anybody else who's watching. I think we got 5 people watching. But we were going to talk about. Well, we are going to talk about this quad rotation stochastic indicator, or as one of our guys in the Telegram group likes to call it, Quadzilla, which I quite like actually. What do you think of that name, Maff?
I quite like that. Yeah, it's I can imagine if we did like a not that we're planning to, obviously, but if we did like a sort of special productized premium version of it with special features and so on, then it would be branded Quadzilla.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I was thinking of giving it some sort of name in the first place that was going to be a bit more memorable, a bit less techy and all that. My problem is because I'm from a kind of SEO, search engine optimization kind of background, I almost kind of want to stuff keywords in everything that I do. I mean, part of the reason the channel's called Save with Crypto is because I bought one of those unstoppable domains. So I actually bought savewith.crypto, and it was because of that the channel became that. So I was thinking with that, with the name of the indicator, because some people are familiar with the term quad rotation, which was a term that came around because of John Curisco, who kind of noticed this phenomena of the 4 stochastics. He came up with that term quad rotation, and so I know some people know it because of that. And then of course the word stochastic is a word that people are going to look for if they're looking for an indicator in TradingView. So my idea was just to keep it, well, basically so it does what it says on the tin, and it's kind of got those keywords in there. Now I don't know if TradingView works like that, because when you actually publish an indicator, you can give it various tags and things. So you could probably have something called something completely different, like Quadzilla, and then give it the tags quad rotation and stochastic oscillator as tags, and people would probably find it anyway. I just don't know really. I mean, I'm not even sure if you can change the title. I think if you can, I might consider doing that, or even just saying like Quadzilla, the stochastic the quad rotation stochastic oscillator.
Yeah,
obviously
I don't plenty of room to stuff the keywords into the
yeah. I mean, but as I say, I don't know if it works like that. I mean, I know now if you go to Google, for example, you put in like quad rotation stochastic, I think our page on TradingView comes up first, which is obviously the kind of things I was aiming for. I mean, in an ideal world, it'd be like the best indicator available, and it would come off. But like, certainly for people who know what, for people who know what they're looking for in that niche, it comes up. But it might be something well, it might be worth thinking about in the future, maybe renaming it a little bit. But anyway, so yeah, we're going to be talking about this because I think we've, well, Maff has helped so much with this indicator, and he's made it into something like really, really kind of beautiful and lovely, and I think it's very useful and good. Okay, so we've got a question from Lee here, so I can just highlight you and put you on the screen like that. Okay, so Lee saying, I got into a long last night on Sol as I saw a green bar on the 30-minute. Excuse those alerts, by the way. I'll talk about that later, but I've got some alerts set on TradingView. I would love to say it's a lovely, sexy lady with me, but it's not, unfortunately. It's just an alert on TradingView.
Special liaison.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Anyway, I'll start again. So Lee's saying, I got into a long last night on Sol as I saw a green bar on the 30-minute. It suddenly shot down in price, and I was minus £500 in minutes on 7x leverage. Luckily, I didn't panic sell this morning. It's gone back up. Oh, well done, Lee. I must say, I mean, I guess you know what you're doing, but I mean, trading Solana on 7x leverage, that doesn't give you much wiggle room. If I'm trading Solana on leverage, I literally don't use anything more than 3 because it moves so much more violently than other assets. But anyway, I'm glad you got out of it. We could take a look at Solana if you like. Should we do that?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Do you want to do that on your screen, or shall I do it on mine? Or
I think so far you're probably well, it's going to sound patronising. You're doing very well. So, yeah.
Okay.
I think when we start talking about the technicals of the indicator itself, I'll definitely jump in. Yeah.
All right. Well. Thank you, Maff. That's lovely. Okay.
Thank you for the compliment.
Oh, my weekend's improved already. Right. I'm sure I had Solana in here somewhere. There it is. Oh, that's Solana BTC. Yeah, I did. Okay. So you were looking at Solana on the 30-minute. Just move that out of the way. Okay, so I guess you were on, when you say last night, yeah, I guess you were 6 o'clock last night. Right, okay. So, Lee, was this the kind of thing you were looking at? You said, did I do anything wrong? Hang on, let me just move your banner because it's quite big. Right. Did you do anything wrong? Well, obviously, yeah, because you nearly lost all your money. No, but seriously though, the thing here, right? I would have thought if you're looking at that on the 30-minute time frame, you can see here that if you had these EMAs on up here, these are for anyone watching, these are from this indicator here, which we call which is called the CT MAC. MAC actually stands for moving average crossover indicator. What these are set up in a way going 5, 9, 21 and 55 EMAs. When you see these in that kind of order, green, yellow, cyan, red, it is a motion going down, what do you call it, a trend in motion to the downside. So at that point, yeah, literally, you were catching a falling knife. I don't know how big your £500 was, but like percentage wise, but I think the scary part there was you were catching a falling knife on 7x leverage, so that would have been quite scary. This was a big candle, and I'm not sure what price you got in actually. Hang on, let me just read your thing. You said my liquidation price was 121. That's not too bad, but I only used 40% of my wallet to save me getting liquidated. I put a buy limit order at 123 at 1%, which would stop me getting liquidated. Okay, right. So you did some okay risk management there, which is good. Yeah. I mean, what I do sometimes, I start off on a lower leverage. It would literally be like 2 or 3, and then when I'm pretty sure it's going to go in the right way, then I'd think about increasing the leverage and then using some of the capital that I'd freed up to maybe increase the position size. But everyone's got their own style of getting into a position. But yeah, getting into a position with a falling knife is always scary. So the two things there is yeah, the green band, that's always a strong signal. In fact, on the 30-minute time frame, I mean, sometimes you do get this super up. Let me just expand that. Sometimes you do get this green arrow here, the super up indicator, which is even stronger. But nevertheless, the green background. I'm going to turn her off actually. We just
like the opposite at the moment. Yeah.
I'm actually just there you go. Right, she's going to go. Right, so she's put me off now. Right, so yeah, so that was a trend coming down. I personally, what I would have been doing, I would have been looking at this 5 EMA, and I'd have been looking for the bit when that starts to curl back up. You know, so I don't know where you got in, but like I would have been looking for that bit there to be pretty sure that the price was going to go back up on that time frame.
I think from what Lee was saying, bought it $142. Minutes later, it dumped. Maybe news about Iran.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I suppose really with with an asset move. Well, I don't know. The problem was yesterday. Yesterday was an unusual day in that, you know, everyone's waiting to see what happens in the Middle East with that war there, and also there was the triple witching date, which doesn't happen very often, and that creates market turmoil anyway towards the end of the day. So, you know, we kind of knew things were going to go a little bit crazy. So overall, Lee, I wouldn't say that you did anything wrong. You were probably a little bit risky with the 7x leverage on an asset that moves quite quickly. But but you're in. So you bought at 142. We're actually just over that now. Yeah. So you probably want to know what's going to happen next, don't you? Well, I think that we all do, really. But I would say I think things are starting to move up a little bit. And on things like the 12-minute time frame here, we are starting to see that little cross there. But, you know, you see, it depends what time frame you look at, because and this always confuses some people, you know, because if you've got an asset that's going to go up in value, it doesn't go up like that. It obviously goes up sort of more like that, you know. So when you look at it on smaller time frames, you might be just looking at a small area here where you'll see, you know, a peak and then a sort of bottom, you know, but overall the trend is like that, you know. So it depends the kind of thing. You know, if you're looking for trade that you're going to be into for like a few minutes or a few days or a few weeks, really.
Can I jump in just for a second?
Of course you can.
If I screen share.
Oh yes, of course you can. Hang on, let me. Right, I haven't done this for a while, so I'm going to. Are you screen sharing? Oh, there you are. Okay. Right. I'm going to add you to the stage, and I'll have to remove myself first. Hang on.
In fact, I'm just going to move things.
Add you, and then I'm going to make that more like that.
Sure.
But by the way, I know a lot of people who do streaming. They have a bit of music in the background. I personally find that really distracting. I don't know if it's because I'm a musician, but I tend to listen to the music, and then I find it really hard to listen to two things at once. But that's why we have no music here. It's my personal choice. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, sorry.
Just the music of sparkling chatter. I don't know.
There you go.
Something like that. Yeah. So I was just curious about that, Lee. With so I guess that was someone on the 1 hour just at the moment. So that was the one, isn't it? 6 p.m. Friday, 6 p.m. yesterday.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, and 142. Well, I guess it's pretty much where it is now. So I see what you mean. It's come back up. Was it the idea that I guess there's that we seeing that as kind of a floor, kind of a support line that it's hopefully going to bounce away from.
Right.
I mean, because to be honest, that kind of makes sense. So it seems like that ought to be a good entry for a long, just there, if it all goes according to plan. So I don't know. I was also just thinking of in terms of like could Quadzilla have kind of had an opinion on that, a contra opinion that might have helped. But I mean, to be honest, because it did look like the overall trend was just down anyway, certainly on the 1 hour. So it may not have been a surprise that it was just going to keep on, but it's always going to be a bit of a risk, I think, looking at that. I think you probably do almost certainly do a lot more trading than I do anyway, Lee. So I feel like I may be lecturing to someone who's more of an expert than I am. But
not at all.
I imagine that if I mean, obviously there'd be an invalidation point to placing a long there with a good old stop loss to just get the heck out of there. And in which case, obviously, like take the small loss and go again. I would think that'd be the only real sort of advice there, being wise after the event, because we'll get caught in these kind of nightmare underwater times, underwater moments or whatever. But yeah, that'd be the. I just want, if I go to the 12, this has so become like my go-to sort of time, just on the 12 minute.
Okay.
So just I mean, so actually, where was Friday?
Friday
Did
about
you say, was it 6 or 8? Okay.
I think it was about 6.
About 6, yeah. It's obviously that. Yeah. So in 142, I guess I drew it in pretty much. So you entered there. Yeah, it probably did look like maybe it was going to. Mind you, that's a fairly sort of, it's a bear flag just there, isn't it? Pretty much. It's gonna go down.
I actually wasn't. I wasn't trading at the time. I wasn't. Well, I wasn't properly in front of a screen, but
yeah,
I was aware of what was going on. I was kind of driving at the time and listening to something, but
sure.
I think what I did when I got home, I had a look on the 1 hour time frame, which which I certainly with Bitcoin, it was quite good for getting the bottom of that dump, actually, as I remember. Do you want to just flip to Bitcoin for a second?
Yeah, sure. Any particular thing?
Yeah, Bitcoin on the. I don't mind really.
Jump to 1 hour.
Blofin's fine. Yeah, on the 1 hour. I think, yeah, because that was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't quite the bottom, but you did get the green background quite nicely there. Now you'd have had to have been quite brave to take that there.
Yeah, we're looking at this one just
just there. Yeah, it was pretty good though, wasn't it?
Definitely caught it.
Yeah. I mean, I was reluctant to go in myself because I really wanted to see, just to prove the point, I wanted to see that little bit of space, where the convergence band goes below the 20%. And that didn't happen. Yeah. It went below, but we didn't get the space, but then but then we did get the green background on the indicator, which worked really well, I thought.
Yeah, it's the thing about waiting. Is kind of saying it the other day, like waiting for all the stars to be in alignment, and like me, you'd probably never place a trade if you're waiting for everything, all the signals to show. It's much more just that looks this kind of confirms or not the whether it's going to be a good time to jump in, I guess. Kind of like you were saying as well, that it's good to contraindicate. Kind of tells you when not to. When not to. If there's nothing on here that's saying this is a good idea, then that's probably a good indication that it's not a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think because like on the, just go back to Sol for a second. In fact, it's kind of visible on it. I'll just go back to the 12. I think it's just a little bit clearer for this thing. Because on here, this obviously was showing green backgrounds on there.
Yeah.
But I haven't got the. No wonder I was lost. I didn't know the CD. Didn't know what was going on. So on that was very much trend is down, just 100%. There were. I haven't really kind of drawn in like lines of liquidity and support resistance lines and so on this, but I think even though that was going, well, in fact, to be honest, that was saying that's kind of saying it's a good idea. The green background was, but quite a lot else wasn't.
Yeah,
saying it's a good idea, and then obviously this is a bit after the event, but that was them saying, watch what you're doing there. Quite a lot of mixed signals, to be honest. So one of those could go either way. Is this going to be a good idea to enter or not?
Yeah, I was also reluctant as well because that was around about 6 p.m. and the triple witching hour for yesterday was actually, I think is what they call it anyway. I'm still not totally sure what that is, but I think it's when some options expiry things happen and something else happens, and three things all happen at the same time, and it only happens like 2 or 3 times a year. But the third Friday of June is always one, so that was why it was triple witching day yesterday. And the witching hour is at the end. It's like the power hour from the New York session. So in the UK, that's like 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And I was thinking, well, okay, it's had a massive great dump at 6 p.m. and it's still 2 hours away from the witching hour sort of thing. So I was reluctant to do anything. So pretty much it was like really haven't got a clue what's going on here, really. But so you do need a lot of things to line up to give you that confidence, especially at a time like that. And bear in mind that this indicator we're talking about, the Quadzilla one, is something that shows momentum. Okay, so that actually, uses uses 4 mathematical formulas that are looking at the current price compared to a range of prices in the past. So it is just a mathematical formula. It's not based on the actual price. It's not based on volume. So that shows momentum. The indicators we're using here that Maff's got on the screen, the yellow, green, cyan, and red ones, they are EMAs. They are exponential moving averages, which obviously is to do with price. Now that shows the trend. So you kind of need the trend and the momentum to be in agreement. If they're not in agreement, it's pretty hard to say what's going to happen. And so I think at that point in time, if you got out alive, you were quite lucky. But it was just a tricky time of day, I think, and things weren't quite aligning up like we would like to see them.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I wanted to actually point out, just noticed it because I kind of intended to mention this on the video the other day. I think we just didn't have time to talk about all of the things. I need to set that's easy out. The confines on TradingView. Yeah.
It's definitely there. If you go to indicators,
let's do the search.
Let's go to indicators. I think literally just put in CT space MAC, and it's there. It's that.
I tried to make a strategy based on it. It wasn't very good.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's that CT moving average crossover indicator by the caretaker. It's definitely there, and it's been there for years. So
I think it matches the M, the A, and the C when you type in the map. It's probably that. So but if it's not coming up, then it's specifically that.
I tell you what, I'll while you're talking about that, I'll go and find it, and I'll post a link to it in the description. But
sure, good idea.
Okay.
In fact, I was just saying about the sort of a full signal really to watch for that the Quadzilla does show up from time to time is the kind of this crossover. Quite often you see it in this kind of middle band here, but it's especially something to watch for because it does happen in the overbought and oversold areas as well. So just a quick reminder on this, that what we're looking at here is kind of an averaged out range of the stochastic lines. So the red being the fastest, the sort of stochastic one, the white being a averaged out element of the, so is the all 4 of the stochastics, but weighted much more towards the longer, the stochastic 4, and very much downplaying the red. So that kind of gives quite a generally good indicator. Like when these converge, then generally that means that they're in agreement, so it becomes a stronger signal. However, it looks like they're converging there, but they're actually not. They're just passing by each other. Passing by each other. Actually, speedboats in the night, something like that. I can't do that. I haven't got the coordination. There you go. So they're in massive, violent disagreement there. It's just for a moment they run past each other, probably glaring at each other as they run by. I got very I'm getting too caught up in the imagery there. But yeah, so essentially because the red is rushing down towards obviously oversold, the white there in fact is just kind of like bumbling along, and it's just kind of, it eventually turns down, but really that they're in big disagreements there. It's like not a good indication. So you do have to watch for that a bit, that if it happens in either of the over zones, then it may not actually be a signal to open a trade.
Does that actually happen though?
I have seen it. It's rare. I bet I won't be able to find an example now. Going through. If you spot one, shout. I'll just scroll along with it. In either channel, I suppose.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't really see any. Definitely seen it, but it's just
Okay.
I think maybe there. I mean, I guess there. Actually, what committee? That. Yeah, maybe there they. So that's actually okay. That's probably a good signal, to be honest, because it looks like they might be crossing over there, but in fact they are, but they're both coming round and heading in the same direction.
Yeah,
so
and that was
realigning,
and that was a brilliant signal.
Yeah. But this one here, I mean, that's kind of mid-range anyway, so it just doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
it's probably the way to read that one. So yeah, that was that really. So.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll put you back in there. I just kind of realised that we're sort of getting in a way. We're talking about an indicator that lives at the bottom of the sea, aren't we?
Oh yeah, that's true. Constantly covering it. Yeah.
Can we? Just wonder if I can move us around.
Does that work? There you go. Mind you, that's just freaky.
I
feel a bit nauseated looking at that.
It's just wrong, isn't it? It's like I could let's just move us for the time being. That's cool, excellent. So, did you have anything you were saying that you wanted to discuss something else, some details about the indicator that we didn't get time for?
Yeah, I guess that was one of them. There were, I think, I guess he already posted the CTMAC link.
Yeah, I honestly think that bit where they cross over, if that happens in the middle, just ignore it anyway. It's not really a strong signal at all, really. Because we are essentially looking. Well, what we're looking for here is like extreme overbought and extreme oversold. That's the conditions we're looking for, and we're trying to do that with as much accuracy as possible to predict those turning points in the actual chart. I mean, that's the whole reason behind it. So when it's in the middle, it isn't particularly doing anything. It's not necessarily, changing direction much. I mean, I know it does sometimes, but those aren't really the ones we're looking for. I mean, for example, that one right in the middle of the screen at the moment, that came down. Hang on. No, that wasn't what I was looking at. No, I honestly think if you see that in the middle of the band, then it the middle of the between the 20 and the 80%, I don't think it means anything really. So nothing useful anyway. So I think we are mainly interested in the extremes, and so that's cool.
Yeah, definitely start to just kind of read it that way, that it's when it's here, there's probably not much going on. Probably, in fact, to be honest, I guess when it's there, that means you can kind of relax a bit and it's like, hey, I've got time to plan out my next trade. Look at, what most people, I think, probably tend to do is kind of looking on the higher time frames to plan out, to kind of draw in these lines a bit. Because one thing was, I think there's a comment from yesterday. There's like in the chat yesterday on the video that went out. I quite liked. Sorry, Matt, just digressing again. The live premiere thing on YouTube. It's pretty good, isn't it? Because it makes it much more of an event.
Yeah,
there were good comments while it was premiering live.
Yeah, I've never actually done that before, and I think it's quite cool if you got like a long video like that, and you are obviously going to have questions, throughout it. So I thought, bearing that in mind, I thought I'd do it anyway because I was pleased with the video, and I was thinking it's and it took quite a while to edit it and get it all right, because when we recorded it, I think we both. Well, I certainly had a habit of talking over Maff, and I
was doing so. Yeah,
and because I had the audio on separate tracks, I was I actually managed to separate them quite well, and I was quite pleased with what I did, and I thought, there's quite a lot of effort gone to that, so it'd be good to sort of discuss it as it was going on. So I was pleased with that. I thought that was quite a good format. Might do that again in the future.
Yeah. There's a question during that from Space Cat about just like, so because I think when we were talking about if a position is already open and using this to show maybe when to take profit, which kind of got me thinking that it's so because and also sort of combine in terms of just planning out a trade, like sort of putting in the levels and take profit like places and so on. So in which case this is probably then kind of like a live just confirmation of like are things going in the right direction, or is the momentum starting to weaken? But versus, because I think if you're using this as a way to determine, is this as good as it's going to get? Is this a good place to basically close the trade? Then it's much more like a scalping tool if it's used in that way, which maybe it's actually very good for that. I think generally you'd probably find that you get better results. I think better success with just doing like a pre-planned trade that's based on support resistance levels, trend lines maybe, and so on, and then kind of having this in place that, like, maybe to take a partial profit and moving the stop loss up or down, depending on what that's telling you about how things are going. So that's just kind of a thought on that, really.
Yeah. Okay. So what do we think at the moment then for, say, Bitcoin? What do we think it's going to do? Anything over the weekend or nothing?
Should go to maybe the 4 hour.
Yeah, sure.
Over the weekend, I just get the impression it's going to not do very much.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's certainly within kind of a range, isn't it? It just feels like it's going to maybe stay within that until the next major thing happens, or the bombs start dropping, or whatever, or a particular world leader tweets, or and that might cause a rapid move in either direction, I guess, which is always fun, but probably not much fun for the target of the tweet, I guess.
Oh God, no. If anyone's interested, by the way, the CME did close at 103.730 on Friday night, so that might be a level we'll go to sort of next week, if not Sunday night or Monday morning. So 103.730. So that might be something worth. It's pretty boring now because it's pretty much where we are exactly now, isn't it? So that's it really. Okay.
So I mean, probably longer term. Get the feeling that it's going to be it's going to sound really boring, I think, but to be honest, it feels like it's going to be kind of a moribund summer of a sideways movement. I mean that's just the impression I'm getting.
Yeah.
They feel like, I think maybe there'll be a correction of some sorts down to. I mean, I wonder if it'll drop down below 100, and maybe it's more a question of when. Really, is it going to be soon, or is it going to correct down to below 100 to maybe the 90s? It is, yeah. Because it's been wanting to come down to that sort of level for quite a long time, isn't it?
I must admit, I don't really like it when it's over 100k. It just seems a bit weird.
Yeah.
I kind of feel much more comfortable when it's down sort of like, you know, I don't know, 80, 90, that kind of level. But
Yeah.
I shouldn't really say that. I shouldn't really wish for it either. But I don't know. I just feel it's a bit expensive at the moment, and like, and I know some people think it will go up to like $1 million and stuff, but I can't quite see it, to be honest. But
I guess yeah, just it's kind of useful that it's divisible, because obviously if these were kind of atomic units that we're talking about, then like if it was you're buying a share,
yeah,
you're buying a stock or something, then that sort of thing, I would definitely see how that hamper it. And unless you talk about buying into a fund or something. But yeah, I suppose it's all about confidence, isn't it? Investor confidence or whatever.
So
yeah.
So if Bitcoin's about 100 grand, then one Satoshi is that's 100 millionth, isn't it? So is that $10 or is that $1? I can't work it out. Hang on.
I'm not even going to try. I'll get a headache.
Hang on. Right. Gonna get my calculator out. Hang on. Because obviously if you get the stage when you can't, it's too much to buy a cup of coffee with, then so right. So at the moment it costs $100,000, and then if you divide that by it's 100 million, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. So that's $0.001. So it is actually one Satoshi. If Bitcoin was 100k, one Satoshi is actually $0.1. So it's actually 10 cents, isn't it? Right. Okay. So that's what's that called? Is that a dime? It is a dime, isn't it? Is that a dime 10 cents? I think it is, isn't it? So that's what one Satoshi is at the moment. So if that became $1 million, then yeah. So if it's $1 million, then one Satoshi would be $1. I think I've got that right, haven't I? So I suppose if Bitcoin was $1 million, then dollars wouldn't probably be worth very much. So probably like $1 would be the smallest unit of currency anyone ever uses. Yeah. So that's what you'd be putting in your parking meter or whatever. Yeah, it's crazy to think about it. There again, I mean, I when I got into this malarkey, I kind of said to myself, I'm not going to buy Bitcoin if it goes over 8,000 euros.
Yeah.
And that was only like 5 years ago, So, that's what I was saying then. So, yeah,
there's a definite psychological aspect to it, because even if you're not necessarily buying a whole Bitcoin, it still seems so. I mean, I guess by people I mean kind of everyone, kind of obviously think of it in terms of its price, but rather than what's relative, like what's the confidence level on it. That by buying some amount of Bitcoin, is it going to go up in value or down in value? Like, looked at purely from that point of view, without the sort of big gorilla in the corner kind of of the the current number.
Yeah. I've become less precious about it. I mean, if it goes up to like 200k, then I'm going to sell my Bitcoin and then wait for it to crash. And if it doesn't, I'll just be like, oh, never mind.
or sell some amount of it, obviously.
Yeah. Anyway, so we got Zavi here saying hello brother. Hello Zavi. I'm not sure I recognise you, but if you're new here, very, very pleased to have you here. By the way, I haven't said it yet, but please do hit the like. I'm not sure how many people have liked the stream yet, but it would be great if you could do that.
Yeah.
Have you not done it?
No.
Bloody hell.
Banned.
What have I said to you? No. Anyway, yeah, cool. Yeah, Lee was talking about having some rain or thunder in the background. I'm not sure about that. I think that works if you've got periods where you're like not saying anything, like you just got a chart up there, and But I think while we're still talking, while we haven't run out of things to say, I think it's I quite like the silence, really. I just it might be because I've got a bit of tinnitus because. I'm a bass player, so I've been standing next to a drummer all my life with like cymbals crashing in my ears. So I got
literally in that ear that
no, not particularly, because it's in your brain. It's actually not a physical thing either. It's but what I've actually found might be because of my advanced age as well. But what I've found is that sometimes when there's like two noises going on at the same time, I find it really hard to concentrate on one of them. So I know, for example, now I'm not as good in like a noisy pub listening to people as I used to be, because I tend to hear the background noise as much as I'm hearing the person I'm talking to, or I'll hear other conversations, and yeah, I don't know. It's just something I've noticed. I think it might be psychological. I'm not sure, but anyway, but that's what I've noticed when I watch other people's streams where they've got music going on in the background. In particular, I mean, I don't watch him often, but that Sam Price, who does the Crypto Lifer show in the afternoons, I mean, his background music is really loud, and he's really proud of his background music, and he's worked quite hard on his playlist, and it's all kind of, quite full on sort of house music. I mean, it gives a nice vibe, but at the same time, I actually think I'm actually listening to the music, not listening to what he's saying. So anyway, that's just my personal things, really. Anyway, Lee said, I've got to go to my son's basketball game now. All right, take care, Lee. And I'm sure. Zavi is a 14-year-old from Pakistan. Oh, brilliant. Okay, great. I think you're probably my youngest viewer so far.
That's great. If anyone's younger, then do shout.
Yeah,
got the record so far. Yeah.
You're younger than my youngest daughter. That's quite young. That's brilliant. Okay.
I was going to start talking about hearing, but I don't want it to. Well, I suppose you may want to avoid it becoming like old man chat on a Saturday afternoon, talking about our hearing.
I don't mind.
But what I did find for many years is that I just like very low frequency noises, or rather when there's a lot of low frequency noise, I couldn't really hear high frequency noises for some reason. It was weird. So like, especially being in pubs and things, lots of low rumbling or whatever, and echoes, like noises clattering of hard surfaces. But then people talking, I couldn't. What? And that was when I was like in my 20s and 30s, and had my ears kind of like with the kind of thing that they do where they, not so much syringe, but they do the sonic thing now or whatever, and that was it just corrected it instantly. Now I can hear in pubs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Xavi was talking about the infinity algo indicator. That's not anything I've ever heard of. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't. We could probably maybe check that out.
Yeah,
could do. Yeah.
And I probably don't want to do that live because, well, particularly, I don't want to shield somebody else's product, really. Not that we've got anything to sell here, but like, by the way, we do appreciate likes on the stream, so do that. I'm just having a quick Google of it. Infinity Algo, it's a kind of AI trading thing. I can have a look at it sometimes, Avi. So do make sure you are subscribed to my channel, and I'll maybe do that during the week, and I'll take a look at it and I'm probably not going to pay for it if it's a paid thing, but if Infinity Algo want to reach out to me and give me a free version to play with, then I'm more than happy to review anything. But yeah, maybe we can do that. I'm not going to do that today, though, if that's all right with you, Xavi. But thanks for asking and thanks for your comment.
One thing, unless there's something you wanted to lead into there, but I was thinking, well, in fact, there are a couple of things, well, quite a few things. There's so within the quad settings itself, because obviously a new version went out quite recently, actually after the last video. So probably quickly just go through those a bit. Mostly the same, except that a bit of renaming went on. It's almost like a rebranding in a way, but just so that this was like ABCD before, but then we kind of thought at the name Trend Shield to just try and communicate a bit. So naming it after its intent, like what it tells you, rather than how it's going about it. The implementation details. So it happens to be spotting an ABCD pattern. Maybe that in itself is useful, but in terms of what it's telling you, it's saying the trend is actually going to carry on going in a particular direction, and it's shielding you from opening a position in the opposite direction at that point. So it's where it puts in the little red or green triangles indicating the direction that it's probably going to carry on. So within that, updated this a little bit. So it just says it's a contra signal. It tells you that it probably isn't a good idea to place it long or short, even when the price seems about to change direction. And then just some details about the setting itself. So how many bars since the price went, or since the level here, the momentum level went above 90, which would be about there, or below 10, be about there. Not sure if there are any. There you go. Yeah, I had that right on top of the example. But
that's really cool. You've done that, Maff. It's I did look at the tooltips, and you've done a really good job there. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome. So the conversions. Did I update those at all? I think anyone using anyone using the indicator, it's worth kind of like checking these out, because they are just clarified a bit, really, and it's a lot of it is just kind of for the existing stuff, just looking through the code and figuring out what those that have gone before, the giants whose shoulders are now standing on top of and yapping away, what have they done in the code? So just kind of interpreting that and just summing it up a bit in the tooltips. And so on. I think that maybe that was about it for the recent changes since a couple of days ago. It's actually kind of so I hope this continues a bit in terms of we'll keep doing like incremental updates, and a lot of it is based on just feedback as well, people in the Telegram group and so on. It all kind of works its way in.
Yeah, no, I think it's really lovely the way it's progressing, and I think people are definitely appreciating it, and even on the actual TradingView page itself, getting some lovely comments there, and people saying how much they love it and stuff, and I think it's really good. Yeah, I think it's great for just building the community and getting people talking about the way they trade and what they're looking for. It's really nice.
I'm in the right one. Oh no, this is completely different. Talking about shilling someone else's product. So it's down here, isn't it? Let's do that again. Where am I going? I thought it'd just have the in. Where's the back? Oh, there. So zip on down to the comment. Blimey, 16.
You have got a noisy mouse, haven't you?
So the just lifting that, that's a microphone. Dinky little thing. It's brilliant. I've had that for probably 10 years. Well, I say it's brilliant. I don't know what sound qualities.
That sounds all right. Sounds good.
Yeah. But then because it just sits on the desk, and I brought it forward so that it's actually picking up my voice, and the mouse is actually right by it.
Oh, I see.
So it's the loudest thing, so because it's the closest thing. So I like that one. That's awesome. That was May. That was before I did the convergence band update.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, there was someone called Cat Weasley, I think, who left a nice comment. I'll tell you one thing. One thing I was trying to play with this morning. I was trying to work out. Oh God! So I just caught me beard. I haven't got a beard. Caught me stubble in the end of my pen. That was painful.
Oh God, yeah, don't do that.
Ow! Yeah. I'm glad the camera wasn't on there. What I was trying to do this morning was I was trying to set an alert to detect the airspace, and I was thinking, because now you've actually got. Shall I show you what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Let me just
I'll stop the chat. Yeah.
Flip over to right, and then do that. I'll do. Right. Okay. I wish I could do that really quickly and smoothly, just like what Dave Stonksy does. It's like he's getting really good at it. He's just like, it's like smooth, and he's
and he's a whoosh sound. It'd be really slick.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, what I was thinking, right, was I was thinking of creating an alert, right? And I was obviously looking at the quad rotation stochastic, and I was going to look at, for example, let's go for the one at the bottom. So that would be like crossing down, right? And then that would be, hang on. Oop. So now you've got the stochastic average there, right? So I was thinking, like, if we do that, so you have so that indicator looking at the stochastic average, which is the white line, isn't it? On the way you've done it, yeah. Is that correct? Oh, hang on.
I think so.
Did I lose you?
No. Well, only in the sense that I was reading through the comments.
I see.
But apart from that, it's totally engaged. Yeah.
There was a funny thing the other day on the Stonksy show when that happened with Dave, and I was explaining something, and then I kind of mentioned something to him, and he was just sort of looking down at his lap, and I was like, "You're right there, mate." And he went,
what could possibly be more interesting in your lap than me talking?
Yeah, I thought, oh my God, I've just bored him to death, and like, and he was just sort of looking down his lap. Like, I thought he'd nodded off for a minute, and I kind of said, like, are you okay there, mate? And he went, yeah, I'm just reading something. So what you just reading the paper or something?
Reading War and Peace down here is enthralling.
Yeah, just reading the book while you waffle on. Anyway, so create an alert. So got quad rotation, stochastic average. So that is the white line that forms the edge of the convergence band. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So crossing down, I'm going to say value equals 20. Right. So I was doing that once per bar, for example. Then I was going to have a message of like that'd be like sort of by airspace. So so that was the plan. But then I realized, right, because what we're looking for here, let's make that bigger. what I was hoping to detect was when the white line goes there and you get the space there. But that, of course, that doesn't always work, does it? Because
there's nothing in the indicator code itself that kind of knows, as it were, that there's airspace. I mean, it'd be very easy to add. It's literally just, are both values above or below, 20 or 80?
The only thing is you do get situations where you do get situations where, for example, like in this, the red would be below the white. Oh, hang on, would that work? I don't know.
Good point, actually. Like, is that relevant?
I don't know. You see, but the thing is, I mean, that's well, for anyone who's watching, this is something we've noticed. What we're talking about here is this like kind of space down here that we get, particularly on things like the 1 hour time frame, which we didn't get last night, but say we did get that on whenever that was. Oh, we're done there. Oh, what's that there?
I was going to say, if you increase the height of it.
Oh,
what's going on?
Why is that? Anyway, why is it not doing the anyway?
What is it you want to do?
Yeah. No, I just wanted to sort of put the cursor there, so it's showing the.
Oh, yeah, you've lost a line.
Yeah, and that's got a little padlock on it. Why is? I'm gonna. No, wasn't there?
There. Is there a lock? What if you right click on the padlock, which I guess you just did?
Don't know what I've done there.
Is there delete?
Anyway, well, let's not worry about it too much. But I've distracted myself now. So for the benefit of anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, is what we'd noticed was that sometimes you get this kind of bit of space there where this convergence band comes below the 20%, or it goes above the 80%, and you get this kind of area here. And normally that is a really strong signal that you've got a top or a bottom. In actual fact, what tends to happen anyway is one of these things like the red background or the green background will fire off anyway, giving what we know to be a strong signal. So it might not be that useful anyway, but I was just curious of what I could do, with alerts. But it's there if you want it. I mean, you can go to the alerts and you can set up all sorts of things. Like I say, you could be looking at the the little shields that we've talked about, or the super up and super down, or even the stochastics that you can't actually see at the moment because they're not enabled. So it's all there of stuff you can do. And I did actually think, I mean, I don't actually want to build a bot or anything like that, but what I wouldn't mind doing is if I kind of knew, I don't know, if I knew that, say, a good opportunity for a low was coming up, and I wanted to get into a long position. I mean, maybe on like a really high time frame, like the 4 hour or something, and I want to look for something like this. Then, I would almost consider maybe automating something like that, where you use that alert, and obviously when you do that, the way you do that over on the notifications is what you would do. You would use this webhook URL, and you basically have something there that you put into well, the easiest way to do it is to use a third-party service like 3 commas. You can put a webhook into there, and you can automate that with your exchange using an API and stuff. It's something I might toy with in the future. I'm not particularly comfortable doing that. I know some people do. Automate their trading that way.
I would be. I mean, as a sort of lifelong tech head, I suppose. I love the idea of automation, but at the same time, I'd be so cautious about leaving this thing running to, spend my money or risk my money.
Yeah,
think
I still wouldn't be entirely comfortable about,
because like with the bots, like, I mean, obviously Stonksy springs to mind as one we all kind of know and love, and obviously that's got somebody working full time on it, and therefore is pretty damn good. But without somebody just kind of like absolutely zeroing in on this like full time and think so. I think something I set up would probably just be, I'd very quickly just be like, oh my god, switch it off. It's draining the account. Or something.
Yeah. Or
just in terms of safeguards and so on.
yeah.
Yeah. But one thing that suddenly occurred to me though, with yes, sorry. So just to round that off, the alerts definitely, and I think just having the sort of the human go no go involved in that. Oh, actually, am I any quieter? I'm leaning back. Sorry, just
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Brilliant. Okay, I can lean back. So yeah, in terms of the go no go, it just seems really maybe prudent, I suppose, to have like the holder of the purse strings, the human holder, kind of involved in that bit. Even if it's just to kind of click like confirm, or like just like yes or no or whatever. Are you sure? But yeah, I think so. What did occur to me while you were looking at that was in terms of if it's so setting up alerts would be ideal. I think if you've kind of pre-planned it so it's going to hit a particular level where you're expecting the price to pivot, and you kind of get this double confirmation of the stochastic lines curving round, or of the band the convergence band curving round. Maybe that's like a hyper go alert.
Yeah. I mean the guy I know who's like really good at this is Eric Crown, and he sells a service. I'm not sure what it's called now. It used to be called the Quant Prime Automation, I think. And basically what that's all about, it isn't actually an automation service. What it is, he kind of, it's a course where he tells you how to do this kind of thing. And he uses a third party called I'm always find it hard to say things that begin with vowels. Alertatron. He uses Alertatron, where you can put in various logic. So with him, it would be if this indicator is doing this and this indicator is false or negative, then do this. So it's actually fairly complex bits of logic in there. And then what he does and what he sells is a thing that he calls the skeleton key, which is basically where you can put those, put your idea, put your strategy into this skeleton key thing, which is something that runs on TradingView, and it back tests it over whatever data you've got. And he generally uses Bitcoin because there's like pretty much 15 years of data there, and it will say, well, probability wise this tends to happen, and he bases a lot of his automation on that kind of thing, really. But even so, he will say himself, you can't just set it and forget it. You've got to go in there and tweak it and make sure it's doing what you want. And the thing I've always had about automation and bots and stuff is I've always said that it's not, don't use a bot just because you don't know how to trade, because sometimes the bot will F up and you'll have to go in there and fix it yourself. You have to work out how you want to get out of the trade with minimum loss, and a bot won't do that for you, well, at least not at the moment anyway. So that's my general thoughts about that kind of thing. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, so something that I thought might be worth is sort of related to that, to really to what I was saying in there about the using the levels and the quad rotation signals as a sort of way to plan out a trade and then know when to get the confirmation to go. If I may.
Oh, do you want the screen?
Yeah, just for a minute. Well, for however long it needs. Yeah. So yeah, this is Bitcoin on the 1 hour, and I should maybe delete these lines. They're just like nowhere lines. I think. So, oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
What is that one? Sorry, I'm just getting distracted. It's tooltip. Yeah. Remove the drawings. So yeah, essentially, say if looking at this on the 12 hour and there happened to be a case where it's kind of drawn in a line, they're expecting, oh, actually, you know, what might be good for this is just to cover it, is also to use the replay, which I do from time to time.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah, okay. Let's do that. There's going to be a kind of a case of confirmation bias now, but it's useful for this sort of thing where you can look back over things and say, okay, if I'd planned out a trade, looking at a case where you know it turns out as you'd hope, but it also helps in that case to kind of understand a lot of the time exactly what the indicator is telling you, and then kind of see how that actually plays out in reality. Obviously, you can do that just by scrolling left, but it's a lot clearer, I think, doing this way, because you actually see in pretend live each candle, each bar kind of playing out. So say if I go to maybe about there, I don't know. So yeah, we'll be looking at this and thinking like, okay, I think so you might sort of set two levels, I guess, you know, two scenarios, I guess, where this is just going to go up, up, up. But then you might also look at this and think, well, there's liquidity here, and it's probably going to come down and slurp all that up.
Yeah.
And hopefully then go back up. In which case, I hope that on the replay, I've never tried this. Can you go to a different time frame during the replay, or is it just? Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, it's a bit more better. So what we might kind of look at doing is kind of drawing out some. Should I just draw? What should I do? Horizontal line, I guess. So potentially it might come down to there. Potentially it might. There, don't know, that sort of thing. Something might happen there. I mean, potentially draw something in there, but it depends, because that's showing a potential support line there, isn't it? Especially on the left, like over here. But anyway, sort of leaving it at those for now. So you might plan to obviously open up a long around about when it kind of hits this line or this line.
Yeah.
And what would you say? You have invalidation level somewhere. Whereabouts would you? I mean, first of all, do you think that would be a valid kind of slightly half-baked plan? So I think the price is going to come down to here or here. So I'm going to open a long potentially if it hits either of those.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say it's something that isn't going to happen straight away, but if it does, it would be a really good entry. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and it also, because it seems, I suppose it depends what went on to the left, but it seems likely it's going to come down looking at that.
Yeah, I mean, as well, looking
even
at
if it is eventually. So having done that, so we're still in replay mode. If I go back to the 12-minute, because obviously this is tying back then to whether we can get what we want from this, get the confirmation. So I just start to. So in this case, kind of knew in advance who was going to do this because we've got the godlike power of hindsight. So, oh, there you go. It majorly came down, and I accidentally clicked too far. But say if it came down to here, that's not really. Yeah, to be honest, that's not really confirming much of anything just there, is it? In the sense that the red has sort of come down with it. The white is less convincing.
Yeah.
So you might potentially think, hey, that's the bottom. We can start to long that now. But this is kind of telling otherwise.
Yeah.
I hope this works out. I didn't look too carefully at what it.
I'm intrigued about what happens next. On the edge of my seat, mate.
so there's a bit of a, I guess, a doji-ish happening there. Indecision. Yeah, and in fact, it came back down. So this is actually saying, don't do it, mate. Don't do it. Maybe I should just open the trade anyway there.
Right.
There's a lot of indecision there, isn't it? So potentially here,
it's getting there.
These are now kind of saying like it's borderline literally, but it could potentially it's looking like slightly more likely stronger if you're purely using just what you can see and the potential support, well, really liquidity lines, I suppose, support lines.
Yeah, and then you've got the convergence band in the quad rotation all squishing up. So
yeah, so not quite the air gap.
Not quite, but
so then what's going to happen? Maybe it might come down to that. Because obviously there's more liquidity there to be slurped up, isn't there?
Yeah.
In fact, so that this obviously hasn't curved. So I keep hovering over. This obviously hasn't curved round.
Yeah,
it's looking like it could continue really. Boom. Okay. Luckily, there was no signal here really because it didn't come into here and it didn't curve.
When was this?
So, to be honest, that told us to open a short, didn't it? God damn, that was a good signal. Wow.
Yeah.
That was bleeding brilliant. Mind you, am I exaggerating?
Right. Okay. Right. So now
-3. Yeah.
Right. So now you're getting a green background.
Yes. So in fact, funnily enough, I probably overshot the runway a little bit there because here it looks like on that bar it was showing signs the momentum was starting to turn, and I think that was within this. Widen that a bit. Within that red candle, that in fact, funnily enough, with the wick, that still looked like it wanted to kind of shoot downwards some more, but obviously then it's just very much that. Yeah, and this is obviously a strong up signal now.
Mm-hmm.
Something within that. So obviously it drops below. I mean, this is the thing. If there's an invalidation point, then at this point, might think it's likely to drop even further. I don't know, but this kind of tells us. But so you probably would want to combine it by looking out again onto the higher.
Yeah.
Like maybe even the 4 hour. So it's just what did that hit? Anything meaningful? Potentially could come down to there, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh, that was that June the 5th thing. That was the Elon and Trump argument, wasn't it?
Yeah, true. So that, I guess the outcome of that is that there's probably still liquidity. There's probably still longs there.
Yeah.
In reaction to it.
Yeah. Can you pop back to the 12-minute again? Because I'm on the edge of
what happens next?
Yeah, I know. I was loving it.
Yeah. Let's do that. So I guess the thing there was that there's nothing really below this, I think, in terms of so if it dropped further, it would drop way down. It probably was it 101-ish? It was
0.
Oh, 0, yeah. I thought I was going to drop a huge distance. Yeah, just there. So if it went, yeah, already into profit. So at this point, you'd probably be looking at. Give me
I can't believe there's only 4 people watching. This is absolute dynamite.
Oh, this is bloody riveting. Yeah, it's so say if we took that at face value when that went green, because already on there you're probably thinking like, okay, I'm ready for this. I know that's coming round. Boom! It's a go. Well, I guess candle opened there. So you might. I was just thinking about where you might open the long. It's probably about there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think. So, say that was it. So that's where we open the position. Might also have a stop loss. So as soon as that's gone up, probably move the stop loss at least up to there. Probably now about there, maybe ish.
Okay. I'm just going to quickly say hello to CD. Hello, CD. Yeah, it's all going really well actually. It's the what we're doing here is just using the replay to have a look at what the indicator would have shown us using the 12-minute time frame, and so far there's a super down indicator that would have shown us a brilliant short, and now we're just looking at what happens at the bottom here, and we're on replay mode. We just got that green background, and it's looking good, I reckon.
Yeah. So looking at this, so obviously the where we opened the long, that's part of history now. It's baked in. This we can move around. So you might move that up to so just about 0.2% profit on that. So at least there we kind of know that we're not going to make a loss now. However it goes from there. We're obviously already celebrating if we took the shorts, because that's like boom, we can just go out for a slap at meal or something. Blow the lot, all the profits. But yeah, let's keep moving forward. It's pause for breath, isn't it? It's kind of ranging a bit, and also it's very much keeping an eye on that. I mean, obviously because of the ranging, that's kind of coming around a bit. The longer term one is coming around a bit. The red's still very impulsive. It's kind of like yap. Up we go. Where is it? Where did it go after that?
I don't know.
That's the suspense. Is it going to get is that now resistance?
So what date are we on now?
So that is actually it's quick. Oh, it tells you, doesn't it? So Friday the 20th, yesterday.
Okay.
25 to 10 p.m.
Okay.
Okay. I think probably key thing here now is that, in fact, that is coming round. I was looking at in terms of can this be used as a way to kind of suggests that momentum is weakening. Should we be kind of looking at least taking a partial profit there? Is a good idea to close out the whole lot? If it, I mean, what would you do? Would you move the stop loss up?
I would have moved my stop loss into profit by now, and I'd have probably I would have put it just below that little dip that came in, so probably like 102.870, something like that. That's probably what I would have done. I do have a habit of always putting my stop loss in profit too early, though. I
mean, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
A lot of my trades do close because of that, But
I guess the idea being you can always just go again straight away.
Yeah.
But it has to be some level of confidence that it is going to go, rather than just.
But the thing is, because that convergence band is now sort of broadening out quite a lot, it does kind of imply that the move upwards isn't that strong,
That's
what I think.
It's just,
and also, it just doesn't look that strong. And it was Friday night as well, so it's not the best time to trade, really.
It's puttering out, isn't it, a bit?
Yeah.
But so at this stage, I mean, you could even look at that and say, sod it, I want to watch TV or something and relax. I'm going to close the position. So this is currently saying. So this is the thing, isn't it? Because it's in the nowhere land. Between kind of the interesting activity. So, but I suppose see where it goes.
I think generally it's just continued up the way.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Potentially, is this just? We talk about confirmation bias and things, but is that do that? Is it going to continue chugging up that? Is there a reason it should, or is that is that just kind of trying to see a pattern where there may not be one?
So I'm cheating now. I'm just having a look what did happen.
that is cheating.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I flicked to the end of the book and had a look.
Yeah.
She
didn't give us that clue earlier.
Yeah. In actual fact, that was pretty much the end of that little climb. So
I mean, drew that in, so that there's a sort of bit of a long squeeze, I suppose, going on there. So I wonder if that is a level where it's obviously struggling to get above that price, isn't it?
Yeah.
And even this is now saying kind of, you know what, not going well, mate. In fact, boom. Yeah, so it's exploded-ish. It's popped below that.
So at that point, it's close the trade and go down the pub, isn't it?
Yeah, hugely. Yeah. Okay, cool. That was
quite exciting. I enjoyed that, really. Right. I think we've probably done enough. We've done about getting on for an hour and a half actually now. So it's amazing how time flies, isn't it, when you're enjoying yourself?
Kind of is, yeah.
So unless you've got anything else that you want to say.
Quite a lot. I mean, so many, I made so many notes. So this, as I thought of something, I could, we could talk about this, that. I wrote down ectoplasm in my notebook.
Did you? Why?
I don't know. I thought we could talk about ectoplasm.
Okay.
I think it was because that looked. It depends how you view it. Maybe that's a bit like ectoplasm. As well as being Quadzilla, is now the ectoplasm band.
I see. I quite like things to be fairly. I suppose it is descriptive, isn't it? I suppose, but
I mean, I wouldn't seriously suggest we call it that, but for some reason, I thought probably woke up late at night and thought I must write down ectoplasm. And dread to think where that's going.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean potentially there's enough there for another chat sometime, I think.
Yeah. Should we leave and beg him for more, and keep your notes, and we'll discuss that on another one, if you're open to doing another one. I hope you are.
Very happy to. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good fun. It's just really, because I've always said that trading can get quite sort of lonely, can't it? And and it's sometimes it's nice to have a chat anyway. And I also think we have actually got like a small but like quite lovely community here. I know we're doing this on Saturday, so there's not many people here, but I think it's a really nice thing to do as well. So yeah,
it's true. I hope that people from the group too just catch up on this later on.
Yeah. I think I might make some smaller videos out of it, in particular where you were going over that last bit with the replay. I think that was absolutely brilliant. That was really good.
It's good fun because you can kind of zip through it. Speed up and slow down to look at things.
Yeah. I need to play with that more actually. I must admit it's a feature I didn't even, to be honest, I didn't even realize that on my level of TradingView, which is just basically the first paid one, I didn't even realize it was available. I thought it was just belonged to one of the higher ones, but it's not. I've got it anyway, and I've never even used it. So yeah, no, it's a good way to I don't know, just look at things a little bit differently and all that. Right. Okay, right. Unless hang on. So just have a look at CD's. Yeah, I think CD lives in the States. I think he's in Texas or somewhere. But so it's probably early in the morning. Noting you're in replay mode. Yeah, we were just going through basically what happened over the last couple of days using the replay mode in TradingView. What is your take on what is happening on the chart now? We did talk about it earlier on, and we think nothing much is going to happen really. But I think it's going to be. Whatever does happen is going to be news driven. And I was looking in. I was looking at something else yesterday. I think it was the Stonksy Stonksy show on Friday, when the Wizard of Alt was on there, who I must admit is the most knowledgeable young man I've ever met in my life. He just seems to know everything about everything. But he was saying that most like military attacks and things tend to happen on Fridays, and nothing really happened yesterday. So nothing major anyway.
I mean, I didn't know that, but I remember seeing that in the Discord group as well. Yeah.
So the fact that there wasn't any like major advancement, major escalation or de-escalation of the war yesterday, I think probably nothing much is going to happen over the weekend. So the CME closed pretty much where we are now. So I'm expecting a weekend of nothing. And as for next week, I don't know. I don't know. But
it feels like correction time.
It does, doesn't it? It feels like it's time to dump down below 100. But that's just me pulling an idea out of my head, really. But
it would almost be price wise, it'd be a relief, I think, because it feels like it needs that. It's like
it all feels overstretched, doesn't it?
Yeah. And there are so many sort of liquidity points, like just that are below 100, that it feels like it just wants to come down and complete those price structures before it goes off again. And I think no one is quite seriously believed that it'll happen. It's like, it's above 100 now. It's going to stay there. And it's going to go. But then again, maybe it just hasn't so far. So it feels like that might be the summer. As I was saying, it's going to be might be a bit of a moribund summer of just ranging in that sort of area until we go off again, off to the races.
Yeah. Okay. CD, you're further north in Texas now. Okay, cool. Zavi, that's an awkward question. What's your biggest trade loss and profit? And if you're comfortable, share your experience. I'm not massively comfortable. My biggest trade I ever made. I made 90 grand on one trade, which was really cool. I was also trading on ByBit using inverse perpetual trade as well, which meant that I actually got paid in Bitcoin. And I did that just before Christmas on, I think it was 2021. And then at that time, Bitcoin was worth about 24,000, and by New Year it was worth about 36. So that 90 grand I'd made was actually worth like a hell of a lot more, you know. My biggest loss.
Christmas sorted.
Yeah. My biggest loss. Well, I did something once where I made about 32 grand in one trade, and then I lost about 25 in the next, and it was like, I should be really happy about this, but at the same time, it kind of really hurt at the same time, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't tend to do trades that big anymore. I tend to do smaller ones where I'm, you know, my normal profit is a grand or so. And I did something the other week where I you know, during the week I'd made about 7,000, and then I really did it wrong one day and I lost 3 grand. But overall, I was still 4 grand up, so I wasn't too bothered really.
Yeah, it's all risk management, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you're 14 years old, it kind of like these numbers probably sound enormous, but it's quite weird that, you know, even if you're just playing with like a, you know, $50 or $100 sort of thing, those amounts to a 14-year-old person is still enormous. And you know, it's all relative really, you know, but you know, people just play with different numbers and they put a 0 on the end, and you know, the emotions become quite similar, you know. Whereas you've lost the ability to go out with your friends for a week, you know. I might lose the ability to buy a car I wanted or something, you know. But you know, it's you have to get used to it. Unfortunately, you have to get used to. You can't win all the time, and that's just how it is.
Yeah. But the taking the smaller positions, I think definitely it makes sense. Like sort of fewer and smaller sizes, but more of them.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
just live longer.
Yeah. I mean, I've started playing with normal stocks on using Trading 212 as a platform, and I'm basically using some money that it's basically my father died last year, and I got a portion of what his house was worth, which is about £60,000.
Yeah.
And you know, the choice was either put it in the bank or in an ISA and get 4% interest, or do a little bit of trading with it. And of course, I can't resist doing a little bit of trading with it. So all I'm doing with that, I am literally just I'm buying on red days and selling on green days, and you know, generally I've gone from, well, I'm about £4,000 up since April, you know, so that's okay, you know, and I'm the amount I'm playing with there is about £30,000. And you know, if I can do that and keep that kind of level up consistently, I'm quite happy that, you know, in like a year's time, that will be more like, I don't know, I'm hoping to get that more up to like £100,000 or something like that. So, but I don't intend to make that overnight. You know, I intend to make that over a period of time with the minimum of risk.
To think also maybe because of where that money's sort of come from, you're kind of more cautious with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's you know, it's what my mum and dad basically worked for all their lives, you know, whereas you know, it's not just a pile of numbers of USDT that I've made on a particularly lucky trade. But yeah.
I mean, so you're obviously
not
like
hell. So I just noticed Zavi just said, I can't believe that. You're not 14 years old. Are you really 14 years old? Next month, my portfolio will reach 315,000 US. Wow.
set up there. Wow.
That's incredible. Well, Bloody hell. That's
have access to it.
At 14 years old, that's just mad. Anyway, well done. That's brilliant. CD's saying, are you just using the air gap on the 1 hour to find entries, or are you using that on the lower time frame as well? To be honest, I'm not actually using it as such. I'm just sort of I'm making sure I'm aware if it's there, and I because it's only something that we stumbled across since Maff had done the update on the indicator. It's something that I'm just becoming aware of, and I'm looking. I am still looking for those super up and the background color changes as well, because what they do is they tell you which way the stochastics are moving. When they turn positive. So, but time frame, I do like the 1 hour. I think Maff likes the 12-minute. But it depends on the asset you're trading as well, of course.
Yeah. I mean, so it's a case of using the combined signals, really, isn't it? But kind of what I was going through with the replay was just really kind of that, like planning the trade, because obviously if you're just using the air gap and the other signals on there, the other quad signals to say like, oh, this looks like it's telling me to open a trade, then essentially you're scalping, which it's like, so you can use it for scalping, and similarly for the close, use it for closing the scalp as well. But then what I was going through on the replay was kind of more planning out the trades. You just do that in whatever way you'd normally do that, and then just using the quad rotation to just confirm, like, is this going to be the right moment now to open, and should I be looking at taking profit at this stage, or moving the stop loss around and so on.
Yeah. And I do think you just you do need to trade to get good at it. I think there's you can look at we can read as many books as you like and stuff. But at the end of the day, you just have to do it. And I think even trading with like paper trading or just using demo accounts, I think even then you don't have the right emotion that you do when you use like real money. And so
right. That edge all of a sudden.
Yeah, right. I think I'm into wrapping this up now, because I need to go and do a few things in real life as well, really. So just wanted to say a massive thank you to Maff, and thank you to everyone who came along. Please do make sure you like the live stream, and we'll see you soon.
Like stream, I guess.
Yeah. So, any final words, Maff?
No. Sorry, I can't. I didn't really have anything planned for final words.
Right. Well, last time I asked you went on another 20 minutes, but
yeah, sure. I've really enjoyed it though. Just
okay, yeah, me too. Brilliant.
I hope people didn't mind me being kind of on here as well. I feel like a bit of an imposter just joining, because I think a lot of the people, especially on the Telegram group, they trade a hell of a lot more than I do. So just happy to be here.
Well, look, we're here doing it, and by the way, if anyone who is from the Telegram group who wants to maybe come on a live stream, we can always do that as well.
Yeah.
So, I do want it to be more than the community, not just me babbling away. Yeah. So that's really cool.
It's actually kind of a nice idea, isn't it? So, just kind of bring in different guests from the Telegram, just get them to chat and just tell their stories and.
Yeah,
what are their trading strategies and so on.
Yeah,
pretty good actually.
Yeah. Anyway, Xavi, I believe you're 14. I also believe you're a very rich 14-year-old person, especially in Pakistan, because money goes a long way there, doesn't it? So that's amazing.
That's pretty damn impressive.
So you can predict next candlesticks majority of times 8 times out of 10. If you're not in my Telegram group, Xavi, do join it. There is a link for it in this description of this video. If you go to savercrypto.org/TG, you'll see how to join it there. But just come over there and have a chat and tell us which way the price is going to go, and that'd be fantastic. All right. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Otherwise, I'll be here all day. But thanks again for everyone. Do click like on the way out, and take care. Have a great weekend. See you tomorrow.